Hello, chess kids. Mike Amori. How are you? Welcome to the WCA Fall 2017 session. I have for you this week a little workout for you that I'd love for you to try. When you get to chesskid.com and you log in, you can always click the home button if it doesn't take you there. And then this is what you'll see. This is my account, so I actually get to see all the kids who have been playing. You'll see a couple of these characters here on the right. But for you, when you get on, you should have these four boxes set up here in front. And if you look to the left, you have these choices here as well. For a nice little starter, click Learn. Come do the vision test. And why I like this is you will eventually learn every square on this board by heart. And the one that I find easiest to start with is actually moving pieces. So if you see this little box here, if you click it on, it says coordinates. And if you try the vision test using the coordinates, it's basically just going to pop up a letter on the board. I'll show you. Here you go. Click coordinates, click start. And you see it just clicked F8. Well, if I'm white, I know that the 8 numbers are up here, and that is F8. And then it just clicked G3. So all the machine is asking you to do is find these squares. So if I start to go a little faster, you'll see that I'm starting to find these squares on the board. I have 30 seconds to do this. Now the machine's asking for C1. I just hit C2, which is a mistake. Now I'm out of time. So in the 30 seconds there, I got 7 out of 8 correct. And if you repeat this over and over and over again, you're really going to learn the chessboard. Here's something cool you can do. If you click this one here, see where it says show outside? You can actually hide the letters and numbers, but I recommend not doing that for a while. Just keep it the same so that you can just find the squares however you can. If you click this, however, this button here, you can change color. So if I click that, now I'm black. Okay, so if I'm black and I click start, you'll see down here the numbers have changed. 7 and 8 are on my side. The machine is asking for B5. Now I was ready to click this square, which would be B5 if I were white. But if I'm black, it's over here. H7 over here. A3 up here. And in time, you can really have a lot of fun with this and challenge yourself. Again, if I make a mistake, the machine is looking for F5. If I think I'm white for some reason, I might press this square and I would get it wrong. Okay, I just got 6 out of 6. Now we're going to start again. However, if you click back to the circle, if you click moves and start, the machine still has me as black, and it wants me to play the move E2. Now you can practice dragging and dropping the pieces, F5 and E3. And before you know it, you're really going to learn these squares, bishop to E5, bishop to F5. And in time, the board will be yours. You'll know it just like the piano players understand the keyboard, okay? Great way to start. How much time should you spend on it? I don't know. Play a game. Make a game of it. Just spend 5-10 minutes doing it, and it'll work out really well. Okay, when you're done, you've warmed up. You know where all the squares are now. Go back to Learn. Click it, and come to these workouts. When you click Workout, I think there's about 30, maybe 40 of these. These are positions that you should be able to achieve the goal listed down here. So this is a 2-rook checkmate. So for most of you, this is a pretty easy checkmate. If you click it on, you're going to play against the computer with 2 extra rooks. Even if you have experience and this is easy for you, by the end of this term, which is some point in December, do them all. Play against the machine in every single one of these. I want to show you the extra rook position. So here I'm playing white, right? I have an extra rook. I should be able to win this every single time. Now, I'm going to start playing against the machine. I'll share some ideas that I have. Keep in mind that there are hundreds of ways to win this position when you have an extra rook. My goal would be to start moving the pawns into the middle. I'm going to walk my king out because the king is a great fighter in the end game. And then at some point, I'm going to try to open a file. Why? Because I want my rook to get into the game. So again, I'll just put my king into the middle. There's really nothing that black can do to me at this point. Remember, I have an extra rook here. Okay, so there's putting a pawn on this square. And now I have an idea. I actually want to stop this pawn from moving. And that's known as a pawn wedge, when two pawns are stuck together. And I'll share with you right now why I want this pawn stuck, so that I can break. And I'm going to break right now. That is not a free pawn. If black takes my pawn, I'm just going to swing my rook over and take it back at some point. Now, he didn't take me, but I'm going to take black. Why did I do that? Because now my rook is going to have an open file. I slide it over, put it on A1, and then I'm just going to wait for the opportunity for this rook to get into black's position and start to take things. Again, I'm really not doing that much thinking here. There are so many ways to win this position, but please take your time. Just come up with a plan. What do I do? Okay, so I'm going to take the rook and I'm going to put it on the 7th rank. And I'm just going to pin this pawn and ask this king, where are you going? If you go anywhere away, then I'm just going to take this pawn. So they move a pawn over here. Okay, now I have another idea. I'm going to open up another line. So I'll take a pawn, take control of these squares, and let's see. You know what? Let's see if they want to trade or push past me. If they push past me, then the board will be locked up. If they take, great, I take back. Now guess what? Now there's another open file. One on the right side of the board, one on the left side of the board. My rook will have no trouble getting to either side. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put my rook on the top of the board and have the option of swinging all the way to the right or all the way to the left. What should you do when you play? You do whatever you want. Okay, now we have a chance to open another line, but I'm going to try something pretty cool. I'm actually going to push the pawn past here and kind of lock up the middle of the board, and I'm going to get ready to break again. Move my king over. Why? Because I want to push this pawn and make another break. And you will see why in a moment. There's my pawn break. Come on, machine. Come on, machine. Okay, I'm going to take. And now I'm going to introduce somebody else into the game. Now, the machine doesn't like what I'm doing, so I'm going to click OK. Always click OK. Even if you make a mistake, you just deal with it. So there was something there better I could have done, but I have a very clear plan. Now I'm going to bring my king into the game. And I'm going to walk my king. You see how I made these holes? Come on, machine, leave me alone. And I'm just going to walk my king into black's position. If my king comes from the right side and my rook is hanging out here on the left, at some point, this king's going to have a problem. Okay, now here's something I notice. You see this pawn wedge in the middle? Because this square is covered by my pawn, as well as this one, I'm going to check the black king now. Why? Because now the king is forced to go to the top of the board. And once he does, how is he going to protect these pawns? Do you see my plan? That's it. I'm just going to walk my king in. And again, I could have done this so many different ways, as can you, but just practice this stuff. Okay, so now we can make a trade and some of these pawns can run, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to move this pawn up, and I'm not going to fight black for any more files. If they take me, I'll simply take back with my pawn, and you'll notice now that all of these pawns are locked up. The only piece that can move for black is the king. What I have to be careful about now, obviously, is stalemate. So I'll walk my king to f6. That stops him from coming here, my friends, because I can just checkmate him. We take a pawn. And again, if he comes back this way, we're going to checkmate him. So I have a pretty cool idea in my mind. I'm going to put my king here. Again, if he comes this way, I'm going to checkmate him. Now I'm going to anchor my rook. And what do I mean by an anchor? That's my king. My king protects the rook. The rook puts this king in a box. These are the only squares here that he can use. And now my winning plan. Hello, queen. And that's it. Game is over. And the machine is giving me a choice of how to checkmate. We can be fancy and make it a rook. Look at that. What a genius I am. Okay? There's an example of how to win with an extra rook. So you know what you do? Get on Chess Kid, do the vision test, get into the workouts, and do it yourself. Okay? And when you're done, play as much as you can. Just go back to home, or you can just click play if you want. Click play fast. And sure enough, right now there are no WCA kids online. If they are, you can see them here and you can challenge them. Otherwise, you can just challenge a kid from anywhere in the country. Play as much as you want. I'll see you next Sunday.